Hello and welcome to Course Like Your Car Brochure channel, and in today's episode we're going to be looking at the MG 1100. Hello and welcome back to Course Like, and if you're new to Course Like, we're a car brochure channel looking at car brochures from around the world for the 60s, 70s, 80s and 90s and sometimes beyond that as well. So if you're interested in cars, car knowledge, car brochures, please consider subscribing. Some interesting little things in these brochures actually. So today's brochure, the MG 1100. So let's take a look at this one. So here is today's brochure, and pretty good condition for its age actually. Talking about its age, I don't know if you're a brochure collector or know how you store your brochure, but I put them in these like plastic wallets, and I've written on here 1964, although now I've come back to look at it again, I'm not sure that there is a date on there, so I don't know where I got that 1964 from. But anyway, it is in pretty good condition considering how old the brochure is. Now, just get a few things out of the way, a bit of admin. We do have stickers now in store, various different stickers actually. This is obviously our main logo, but there is other stickers in there as well, as is other various items, cups, etc, etc. You can also now become a member for a very low price, and we'll start doing little extra videos for members as they increase. You can also donate through Patreon if you really want to. And there is something called Super Thanks, which YouTube have put on that little dollar sign. I think it is. Click on that. You can I think you can donate whatever you want. But most of all, the most important thing for Course Like, subscribing. It's completely free. Appreciate everyone who has subscribed. You can also like the video as well. Tells YouTube, you like the videos. More and more people get to see them, etc. Anyway. Now, the MG 1100, all part of that sort of ADO 16 range of cars, launched in 1962 and marketed under various different names, like I've said, and some of them we've actually looked at. The most common ones were the Austin 1100, Morris 1100. The Morris 1100 came first, I think that was around about 15th of August 62, and then the MG 1100 came out around about September 62 with its twin carburetors. But a reminder here that MG wasn't all about sports cars as well. A pretty ordinary looking car in this shade of red. Yeah, the picture itself is a drawing. You find with these 60s brochures, you sometimes do, but you very rarely get an actual photo of the car. They're all like these drawings, and I always think what a great job that would have been in the 60s to be someone who drew all these pictures of these lovely cars and pictures of people admiring the cars. The other thing to mention is, the other thing that's quite common about 60s brochures, they open up into like a poster style. Very common for this type of brochure. This brochure is actually no exception. It does also open in a poster style. Less common to see opening more as a booklet, as you would imagine a brochure to be. So yeah, opens up as a poster style, and it is all drawn pictures, which is the common way to be. It says at the top here, the most advanced MG of all time, the MG 1100. Safety first. Oh, actually, safety fast is what they're trying to say there. So you'll see that safety fast used throughout the brochure actually. And of course, these various different badged engineered cars, think about badge engineering today, nothing new of course. These badge engineered names, I think the grille was kind of the key point of them. That's how they really were recognisable, by the change of grille. This one's pretty nice, MG badge in the centre there of this lovely chrome grille. A few people have mentioned that this MG version is their favourite. My favourite, however, was always the Wolseley. Had lovely interiors, lovely grille, and a bit of a light up Wolseley badge. They were my favourites, but more commonly was these, the Morris 1100, this is a Mark II, and Morris 1300. They were the more likely one for you to see. And then of course you could have like estate versions. This is the Morris 1300 Traveller. And Morris even did a sporty one themselves, this 1300 GT, and there were many other badge engineer versions which we don't really have time to go through here, but you'll see some of them in our back catalogue. Okay, so let's actually open the brochure up and actually see what's inside. First of all, it just opens traditionally before it opens into that poster. Gives some nice drawn images. Let's have a look at the text first and then we'll concentrate more on the pictures themselves. It tells us the MG 1100, so advanced, a revolution in features, and just as the camera's there, I always quite like the how this little bit of a tail was at the back there. Very much a lovely sort of design feature. It tells us later on at the bottom here is the latest concept of Alec Isognosis with the elegant line of Pininfarina. So yeah, that's very much Pininfarina, isn't it? When you certainly look at other cars, think about things like Morris Oxfords, etc. They had that sort of like similar sort of tail, and that I always liked Pininfarina. Pininfarina was my favourite designers actually, specifically for these 60s cars. It also tells us it's a revelation to drive. A revolution in features because its brilliant design incorporates front-wheel drive from the space-saving transverse mounted engine and the dramatic new fluid smooth hydroelastic suspension. A revelation to drive because the MG 1100 provides new standards in comfort and performance. The MG 1100 is indeed the most advanced MG of all time. So we look at the main image there, we can certainly see a bit of a curved windscreen front and almost a little bit of a curved windscreen at the back there, and a big parcel shelf which it talks about later on. They were kind of like big things back in the day. This one obviously is a two-tone colour. I quite like 60s cars in a two-tone, so if I chose one brand new I think I would have gone for a two-tone one as well. There isn't a colour chart with this, but it does tell you the colours at the back of the brochure, which we'll have a look at the end. This one's going to be smoke grey at the top, and then that white is called Old English White. Now because of those colours we know that the interior is going to be in blue, and you can just about make out that blue interior. It's called Reef Blue, and the carpet would have also been Reef Blue as well, so quite an attractive looking car. At one side, if we move the camera over, like I say, we can make out that this red one looks like the two-door that's the same as the front cover though. I don't think this one was particularly well drawn, but if it's in red that means it's called tartan red. And then we can see at the bottom the theme continues with the MG and safety fast. But we should really have a look at how this actually opens up into its brochure style. It does actually open up from the bottom like so, and you can really appreciate how large it is when you actually open it up to its full size. We're going to start at the top here, so I'm going to have to somehow try and fold that back down it so we can actually look at it on camera. And then we get this very unusual guy water skiing. Strange, isn't it? Even though it's just a drawing, it looks 60s just from the drawing. It tells us fluid cushioned even against rock bottom road conditions. Of course it's talking about the hydroelastic suspension. 1100, so advanced, hydroelastic, fluid smooth suspension, supreme ride comfort. And then it gives this rather long description of how hydroelastic suspension works, which obviously we're not going to read all that, but if we move to one side, it's telling you the hydroelastic suspension is sealed, so you don't need any further maintenance on that. It also tells us the system contains antifreeze and is quite unaffected even in extreme weather conditions. And then we've got a rather lovely diagram there of it. love how these older brochures kind of like did the more technical drawing. And then it starts talking about the 1100, so advanced transverse engine gives. Bit of description there. Front wheel drive, better power weight ratio, more economy, better road holding, more safety, better passenger room. And then tells us the revolutionary achievement of mounting the 1100cc engine transversely across the frame with front wheel drive gives increased economy through better power weight ratio and enhanced performance by providing exceptionally fine cornering and road holding qualities. The MG 1100 has passenger accommodation which is equivalent to that of a much larger car, and the exceptionally low centre of gravity gives a smooth, comfortable ride. It is in providing the best of all worlds that the MG 1100 is so remarkable. It does rather nicely give us a glimpse of the inside with that nice wood dash, and then showing for a pretty small car really, there's lots of room inside because they've gone for that front wheel drive design. And then folds out still further to start telling you about, the performance, the engine, etc., and then luxury and comfort. But let's fold it so we can read this top section. Of course, with these transverse engine designs, you could argue that the radiator wasn't in the best position. Obviously this is your front grille here and your radiator's pointing that way, so possibly not the most ideal way of cooling the car, but I think not everything's perfect, I guess. Lovely drawing actually of the engine compartment there. That is particularly well drawn, and a reminder of how easy older cars were to work on. Everything's pretty much at hand and meant to be changed, but it then tells us at the top there, sorry about the reflection, but it says 1100 so advanced, tried and tested power unit with a great MG performance. Twin carburetors, front wheel disc brakes, rubber mounted body, minimum maintenance. So the MG 1100 engine fitted with twin SU semi downdraft carburetors provide typical MG motive power. High performance coupled with economy travel. It integrates final drive, 4-cylinder OHV power unit, clutch, 4-speed synchromesh gearbox which has a remote control gear lever. To ensure smooth fade-free braking from all speeds, the MG 1100 has disc brakes on the front wheels and drum brakes on the rear. An MG proven formula for safety, fast motoring. And then it starts talking about the rubber insulated subframes front and rear, moving down. In keeping with the demands of modern motoring, greasing and maintenance has been considerably reduced. And then finally, nevertheless, it is necessary to emphasise that the MG 1100 is above all an MG, with all that this means in providing a ride of supreme quality based on the world-renowned safety fast features of firm road holding, stable cornering, outstanding performance and confident braking. And then a couple of nicely drawn images, one showing those front disc brakes and the second one, I guess, trying to show you the rubber insulated subframes at the front there. Then we get to luxury and comfort, so advanced, conically curved windshield, wide undistorted vision, large rear parcel shelf, large luggage capacity. So let's just zoom in. Quite a nice sort of plain interior. I like that steel wheel with the MG badge at the front there. That looks very nice. Something very nice to see when you get in the car for sure. It's a very plain interior, but it's one I really like. The seats there look very nice, and it's kind of like telling us the leather upholstery isn't standard, but it's available at a small extra cost, it says. So let's just have a look at that. It says, in the MG 1100 for the first time, curved windows have been adapted to a car in this price range. The virtue lies in providing still more room within the car without increasing external body width. The windshield is conically curved to provide a wide range of undistorted vision from pillar to pillar. The shape of the body of this remarkable car makes possible a really large parcel shelf, under-seat storage and a luggage boot of exceptional capacity. Also exceptional are the luxury of the interior with comfortable foam rubber seating upholstered in real leather at a small extra cost. The clarity of the tastefully grouped instruments and the security of children's safety catches on all doors. The fascia ashtray has ghosted illumination when open, and then again it's got that safety fast and the MG badge there in the middle. We get a nice look at that luggage compartment and how much room there's in there, and then again another little nicely drawn image in the sun of that dashboard and that rear parcel shelf and showing how big it is. And then we carefully fold that brochure all back together again, and on the back are the specifications. So it tells us it's a 4-cylinder, of course. The exact capacity is 1098cc. It looks like it's developing 55 bhp at 5500 RPM. Fuel system is that twin SU HS2 type semi-downdraft carburetors, fed from the rear mounted SU electric fuel pump. I'm not going to read it all because, the thing about these 60s brochures, they certainly go into detail in the specifications. You would never see all this information on a later brochure, really. There is some information about the lubrication system, the ignition system, the cooling system, and then if we move down still further, tell us it's a 4-speed gearbox with synchromesh on second, third and top gear, so not synchromesh on first by the looks of it. Steering is rack and pinion. Suspension, front independent wishbone suspension with hydroelastic displacers. Rear independent with trailing arm. Of course auxiliary springs and anti-roll bars, but of course they incorporating that hydroelastic displacers. Brakes, of course we looked at it before, it's surprisingly discs on the front and more commonly drum brakes at the rear. Bit of information about the road wheels. Electrical, which is 12 volt. And then at the top of there, continuing talking about the electrical system and some of the features it has, like an interior roof light, etc, etc. Instruments, speedometer with total mileage recorder, water temperature and fuel controls. Some information there about the controls themselves. The coachway you can have is a 2 or 4 door saloon. Of course the main picture at the front I seem to remember was a 2-door one, but you could get a 4-door MG as well. And of course, if you want to read all the text themselves, of course you can pause the screen at any time. I think you should be able to read it. Export availability, headlighting, mile per hour or kilometers per hour, speedometer and fresh air ventilation, heating equipment according to the market, laminated glass windshield, and then the optional equipment. So you can have a laminated glass windshield, standard for the export market but not for the British market for whatever reason. Optional leather upholstery. You can also have white wall and Weathermaster tyres. And then we can have selected accessories available through your dealer: wing mirrors, seat belts, roof racks, auxiliary lamps, seat covers, car valeting items, locking petrol cap, anti-mist panels, touch-up paint, hand tools, fire extinguisher, exhaust trim and a badge bar. And then that takes us to the body colours, which you can have that in black, shown twice there because it looks like you can get a different upholstery, dove grey or terracotta. And then you could have old English white, terracotta upholstery, tartan red with dove grey upholstery, and Connaught green with a dove grey upholstery and an almond green carpet. That's the nice one. Smoke grey, reef blue upholstery and reef blue carpet. But you can actually have a duotone or a two-tone paintwork, which I must admit I do like two-tone paints in these 60s cars, so maybe that's what I would have gone for. You can have smoke grey with Old English white, with a reef blue upholstery and reef blue carpet, or you can have Connaught green and Old English white, dove grey upholstery with almond green carpet, or Old English white with sandy beige, terracotta upholstery and rose taupe carpet. Road wheels, aluminium coloured. And at the bottom it says, with the two-tone cars, the first colour is the top colour. Colours of those available at time of publication. For correct availability, see separate colour card, which unfortunately I don't have. And then right at the very bottom here, we've got the nice little BMC badge there, haven't we? The MG Car Company Limited, Nuffield Export Limited and Cowley, Oxford, England. And then printed in England by Newfield Press Limited, Cowley, Oxford. A funny little code there, 2340. Not 100% sure what that's referring to. So there we go, the lovely MG 1100. Do you remember these? Did you own one? Have you driven one? Do you have any sort of memories of these being driven around as a kid? Unfortunately I don't, but I certainly remember seeing them around. Thank you so much for watching today. Many more episodes to come in the near future, so don't forget to like and subscribe. You can of course subscribe by clicking on that big circle Quarterlight with a cat or a logo for Quarterlight, and it's completely free. But thank you so much for watching today. I've added a couple of extra videos there in them boxes you can actually click on if you want to see more videos there. And of course, if you look at all the brochures, there's hundreds and hundreds of brochure videos for you to look at. But thank you so much for watching today. Take care and goodbye.